Undisclosed location. June 1996. A federal employee filed a formal incident report with the Department of Energy's Office of Inspector General. The document was classified for 19 years. It described a maintenance worker who entered a utility corridor in a government facility in Nevada. He did not come back out. The corridor was later found sealed. No worker inside. No signs of struggle. No body. The report listed the case as non-standard spatial incident. Status: unresolved. That document exists. It has a file number. It was signed. The Backrooms. The name does not appear in any official government filing, but descriptions of the phenomenon do. Beginning in the mid-1970s, a small number of incident reports filed across multiple federal agencies began describing a specific and consistent anomaly. Personnel, contractors, maintenance workers, occasionally members of the public. All accounts share three elements. First, an accidental transition: a door, a wall, a floor panel. The subject passes through a surface they believe to be solid. Second, a space that does not correspond to any architectural blueprint on record. Fluorescent lighting, yellowed walls, industrial carpeting, no windows, no exits immediately visible. Third, the subject either returns, disoriented, sometimes days later, or does not return at all. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit received 17 such reports between 1979 and 2001. Under Freedom of Information Act Request Number 1-182476-000, a portion of those records was released in 2015. 14 pages were withheld in full. Reasons cited: national security. This was not a bureaucratic oversight. Exemption 1 of the FOIA statute applies exclusively to matters of classified national security interest. Someone made a deliberate decision. Someone decided that 17 reports about people walking through walls constituted a threat to national security. No explanation was offered. None has been offered since. The earliest formally documented account dates to 1973. A Department of Defense contractor working at a facility in rural Ohio reported that a colleague, identified in documents only as Subject R, failed to return from a routine inspection of sub-level infrastructure. A search team was dispatched within 2 hours. They found his flashlight, still on, positioned on the ground as if set down deliberately. The hallway beyond it did not appear on any building schematic. Maintenance records showed the corridor had existed in the original 1961 construction plans. It was listed as Utility Access, East Wing. It was never assigned a purpose. No pipes ran through it, no wiring, no infrastructure of any kind. It was simply a hallway, built into a government facility, never used, never explained. The search was terminated after 6 hours. The official incident report described the cause as structural anomaly, non-navigable. The hallway was sealed with concrete. Subject R was listed as missing. His family was told there had been an accident during a classified operation. They were told no further information was available. They were told this in writing, on Department of Defense letterhead. In 1988, a FOIA request filed by a journalist at a regional Ohio newspaper obtained partial records from that facility. One page survived the redaction. It contained a single typed sentence, followed by a handwritten note in the margin. The typed sentence read, "Dimensional integrity of sublevel C cannot be confirmed at this time." The handwritten note read, "Do not reopen, do not discuss." No signature, no date. The phenomenon appears across multiple unrelated agencies. A 1991 report from the General Services Administration documented a federal building in Kansas City where 3 separate contractors reported entering a stairwell that led to an uncharted floor. The floor existed between the 4th and 5th levels of a 6-story building. All 3 contractors were interviewed separately. They had not spoken to one another before giving their accounts. All 3 described the same features: long corridors, fluorescent lights humming at an irregular frequency, a smell described consistently as wet carpet and stale air. No other people, no signage, no exits visible upon entry. 2 of the 3 contractors found their way out within hours. One was discovered the following morning, 3 blocks from the building, with no memory of how he exited. The GSA conducted an internal review. The review concluded, spatial irregularity attributed to construction error. No construction error was ever identified. The building had been constructed in 1958 and inspected 14 times before the incident. No prior anomaly had ever been reported. The case was closed. The file was archived. The contractors were asked to sign non-disclosure agreements. All 3 signed. In 1997, a Navy facility in Virginia recorded an incident involving a junior enlisted sailor who was conducting a routine night inspection of sub-level storage areas. He was found 41 hours later in a parking lot in Roanoke, 212 miles from the facility. His medical evaluation noted acute disorientation, non-specific temporal confusion, inability to account for elapsed time. His personal log, a small notebook he kept in his breast pocket, contained entries for all 41 hours. The entries described corridors, fluorescent lights, carpet. His commanding officer's incident report described the event as a personnel welfare incident of unknown origin. The medical report was classified. The notebook was confiscated. The sailor was discharged from service 8 months later. Administrative reasons. His discharge papers contain no further explanation. These accounts share a common thread: a transition, a space, a return, or the absence of one. And in every case, a file that was closed before it was finished. In the course of producing this documentary, we were able to locate one individual willing to speak on record. His name is Robert Callahan, former federal contractor, Department of Energy subcontractor, 11 years of service across multiple government facilities in the Midwest and Southeast. He filed an incident report in 1998, describing an experience consistent with every account in this file. He was transferred to a different facility 3 weeks after filing that report. He has not worked on a federal contract since 2004. He agreed to speak under one condition: that we do not disclose the name or location of the facility where the incident occurred. We agreed. What follows is his account, unedited, unabridged, in his own words.
I'm not going to tell you what I saw was impossible. I've had 22 years to think about it, and the conclusion I keep coming back to is that it wasn't impossible. It happened. Therefore, it's possible. The question is what it means. I was a facilities maintenance contractor. Federal contract, DOE subcontract, the details don't matter. I'd been doing it for 11 years. I knew the buildings. That was literally my job, to know every corridor, every access point, every utility passage in the buildings I serviced. This was in 1998, a facility I won't name. I was doing a night inspection of the lower utility levels. Routine. I'd done it maybe 30-40 times in that building alone. I went through a door I had gone through before. I'm certain of that. I have the inspection logs. I went through that door on 6 previous occasions. It opened into a short corridor that led to the boiler access room. This time it did not. I walked through and I was somewhere else. I want to be precise about this because people always want to make it into something it wasn't. It wasn't dark. It wasn't scary. It wasn't some horror film. It was ordinary. aggressively ordinary. Fluorescent lights, carpet, the kind of carpet you see in every federal building built between 1960 and 1985. Beige yellow, stained in places. A smell, damp, like a room that's been closed for a long time. Corridors, long ones. I walked for what felt like 4 hours. I wasn't panicking. I want to be clear about that too. I was methodical. I turned around. I marked my path. I am a professional. I did everything right. I found a door after what I estimated to be approximately 4 hours of walking. It opened into a stairwell I recognized. I was in the building, 40 feet from where I'd started. My watch said I had been gone for 8 minutes. I went home. I didn't file a report that night. I sat in my car in the parking lot for a while, and then I drove home. I filed the report the next morning. My supervisor read it and told me to rewrite it. He told me to describe it as a disorientation incident. I asked him what that meant. He said it meant exactly what it sounded like. I asked him if he'd seen reports like this before. He didn't answer. I rewrote the report, the way he told me to. 3 weeks later, I was transferred to a different facility in a different state. No explanation. Better pay, actually. I took it. I've thought about it every day since, not with fear. I want to be precise about that too because I think it matters. I don't lie awake at night. I'm not traumatized. What I am is unresolved. There's a thing that happened that I cannot explain, and I was told, very clearly, without anyone saying a single explicit word, that I should stop trying to explain it. I stopped. I'm telling you now because my supervisor died in 2021, and because I'm 61 years old and I don't particularly care anymore who reads a report. Whatever that place was, it was built, or it was found, or it was something else entirely. But someone knew about it. That part I'm certain of. The transfer papers came too fast.
In 2003, a researcher at the University of Michigan filed a FOIA request targeting all federal incident reports containing the phrase non-standard spatial event or uncharted interior space. The request was denied in full. The denial letter cited Exemption 1 of the FOIA statute. The researcher resubmitted. He was told the records did not exist. He then filed a Vaughan Index request, a legal mechanism requiring the government to list, but not reveal, the contents of withheld documents. The government did not respond within the statutory deadline. He filed suit. The case was assigned to a federal judge in the District of Columbia. A hearing was scheduled for March 2004. 3 weeks before the scheduled hearing, the researcher withdrew the lawsuit. He relocated to a different state. He changed his area of research. He has not spoken publicly about the case since. Attempts to contact him for comment have gone unanswered. He is alive. He teaches at a community college in Oregon. He teaches introductory statistics. No explanation for the withdrawal was ever filed with the court. The Backrooms are widely described as internet folklore, a meme, a story told on anonymous image boards beginning around 2019. The first federal incident report describing the phenomenon predates the internet by 2 decades. 17 FBI reports. A sealed concrete hallway in Ohio. A sailor found 200 miles from a facility he never left. A researcher who stopped asking questions 3 weeks before a federal hearing. A contractor named Robert Callahan who rewrote his own report because his supervisor told him to. The FOIA release is available at the FBI's electronic reading room. The file number is 1182476-000. Anyone can read it. Draw your own conclusions.